Alrighty, welcome back to Full Course Scootering. I recently just got a few new subscribers. So if you're one of those new subscribers watching this, this channel is all about scootering, obviously. But what I mean by that is, like, I try to film multiple different kinds of things with scootering, like scooter edits, part reviews. I like to do videos on like old scooter parts and stuff like that, like not like used ones, but like old ones that were like made back in the day. I want to try and do podcasts, rider interviews, video parts for people, just whatever you can think of scootering wise. That's what I'm trying to do with this here channel. So if you want to support me, you can definitely shop at Beamer's Action Sports. They are located in Idaho Falls. You can message them on Facebook or Instagram at Beamer's Action Sports. We're talking about an old scooter deck today, as you can see from the title. So we're talking about the TSI Flight 20. Now, you might be looking at this thing, you might be thinking, what the hell is that thing? Well, let me explain. This is TSI's second scooter deck that they made. In 2011, they came out with the Flight 20 and the Flight 19. I did a little bit of research on it because I am the original owner of this deck. It used to actually be like a baby blue. If you can see up in these little holes here, we'll get to that in a second. You can see the old blue powder coating. My friend Austin rotted out, and now it's just got that kind of gunmetal gray to it. So yeah, I was looking online and I looked on Inside Scooters. I'm not really sure if that's really an active website anymore, but you can still go on there and like find a whole bunch of stuff. But they were saying that the Flight 19 was $130 and the Flight 20 was $150. And I'm pretty sure I picked this up at Inward Scooters back in 2011, I believe. I don't remember how much I actually paid for it. I probably paid, or I guess my mom probably paid $150 for it because I wasn't old enough to buy scooter parts yet. But yeah, from what it says on the website, it says it has an 81-degree head tube angle. That is insane. Like, and I've kind of hopped on it for a second, and it definitely feels like it's pretty far back. If you look at the top here, you can kind of see. I had a friend call it. It looked like a fish. And I guess what he meant was it really just tapers. It's really weird looking. But I believe at the widest point, I think it's like a 4.75 at the widest point, which would be about where your front foot would sit. So, and then it tapers off in the back. So that's just kind of weird. I've never really seen a scooter deck do that. From the amount of time that I rode it and that my friend rode it, I don't see any cracks in it anywhere. Like, this thing, I think, is pretty dang strong. On the bottom, it is, it's definitely, we'll just say that this is probably one of the weirdest decks probably ever made. Because the bottom's not really flat. It's kind of just, it goes up, curves around, kind of dips in, and then curves back down. So you kind of have like these two little rail spots that you can really like board slide on and stuff, and like feeble. So that's why I threw a peg on here as well. This is Elliot Arnold's signature peg from the scooter farm, and it's just like a little shorty peg. So I figured I'd throw it on here just to see if it would help out. We'll see how terrible I am on this. Yeah, so the things on the side here, these little slits, they just kind of cut that out just for like a little bit more extra weight reduction. Sorry, I'm right next to a freeway. But if you look on the side of the deck, let's see, right here, it's kind of curved like that. And I don't remember who I heard it from, but I heard that they made it like that so that you could get into like 50-50 on coping. So, or even like round rails. So I don't know, we might have to play around with that, but it doesn't seem very logical, because I feel like you'd really have to like, because if you do a 50-50 on like a regular flat deck, like you get on it flat. This, I feel like you'd have to really like lean into it to get the balance that you would need. It is integrated. Now I think This isn't necessarily the V2, but from the pictures and stuff that I seen and read about, the head tube was not integrated, and this one is. So I don't know if this is kind of like a newer model where they finally decided to make integrated headsets for it, or integrated headset cups. And the Flowmaster also didn't have integrated headset cups, so you had to manually press them in. So yeah, that's about like the specs for it right now. We'll go get clips on it. I'll talk about how it feels and what is crappy about it and what is good about it. So yeah, we'll go hit a skate park, maybe 2 skate parks, and we'll just get some clips on it and see how she feels. It may or may not be cracked at the base of the head tube. Let's see if you can see it here. There's a little line on the weld. Yeah, that might be a crack. Not sure. So this top cup is very shallow, so your headset bearing actually sticks up out of it, like pretty much like half your bearing. So I feel like that's gonna really, I mean, I guess it would really make your headset bearings very dirty. I feel like I'm doing a review right now, but I mean, I'm not. I'm just kind of going over it, I guess. It has that traditional TSI nose blunt space on it. It works. I don't know. TSI they've always had a lot of nose blunt room, and it's always been flat up here, up on the front. I did tinker with a overcrook a little bit, as you could see, and it took me a little bit to get used to it. I had to really get far forward, and then I got one that was like locked in like really good. The foot space on it, it's very small. I never actually measured it, so I don't know what the foot space is actually. It's got quite a bit of concave on it actually, which it feels really weird because I'm so used to like a wider deck that concave almost feels kind of stupid on like a small deck like this, because it just kind of feels, it's just too skinny for it. But I mean, that's how it was back in the day. I guess you would kind of put like the ball of your foot like right in the middle of it. That's about like where it would be comfortable at. I don't know if it's just because this deck hasn't been grinded for a long time or what, but this thing just, I waxed it a lot, and I still couldn't get it to slide very well on Feebles. So I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. But let's talk about the board slides and just rail tricks in general. because it's like rounded, so you're pretty much kind of grinding on like two round rails. You can kind of see it's like the bottom of the deck has concave to it. So it like you get into board slides and you got to be like dead set on a freaking board slide or lip slide or whatever kind of like grind that you're doing, or else you go forward or you slip out, and you mostly slip out. Especially on round rails. I don't know what my deal is, but I cannot do anything on round rails with this thing. So it's bad. It's really bad. Like, honestly, like, this deck is just so goofy. Nothing makes sense on it. I don't understand it. I don't know what TSI's idea was designing it, but this thing is it's just weird. 50/50s, I was trying 50/50s. You see, there's not very much room on it. I put the peg on there to see if I could help with like feebles and 50/50s, and I think it worked a little bit, but it's just, because it's rounded like that, man, you got to be precise on that ledge or rail, or else you just slip off and just miss it. So it's not very good with 50/50s. I feel like if you had like, wow, that sun is very bright right now. There, that's better. I feel like if you had like two pegs, like one in the front, one in the back, that were longer than this little nubby, you could probably do like double pegs a lot better. I mean, maybe that's the reason why they made this this groove right here on the side. How it's kind of, it looks like the side of like a round rail could fit into it. And I didn't even try any kind of round like 50/50 on that, because it's just, when you're in it, like I tried like the balance point of it, and you got to be like almost completely sideways to have like the right balance point on it. So it just doesn't make any sense. So I don't know if like it's for, if you put pegs on and it kind of butts up next to like a round rail like that, or what. I don't know what the intention was on that. 5/0s, you can't really do 5/0s, because if you look at the bottom, there's really no like square dropout unless you run a peg, which I kind of tinkered with ice picks a little bit, and that's the only real way that you could actually do 5/0s or ice picks, because there's no square dropout. Now, I'm pretty sure in the video you could hear the so I don't know what happened to the bolts in this brake, but my friend Austin, I think he found some random bolt and bolted it in, and he's only got one in there, and so it's at the very end of the brake, so it it hits the end of the deck when you land. If you notice on the bottom of the brake here, let's see here, you got there's a hole right there, you can see. So you're able to adjust the brake, but it's so that you can adjust it for riding 100s. Yeah, that's what it was for. Because it's to move the brake this way instead of that way, away from the wheel. It's towards the wheel. And that's so that the brake is closer to your wheel for 100s. Kind of goofy, I know. But, you know, it was 2011. 115s and 120s were not even thought of yet. The 81-degree head tube angle. It's bad. It's really bad. I guess, honestly, from what I read on Inside Scooters, they said that you could use this, or I guess this is meant for like street riding. But everything that I've experienced on this thing is nowhere close to any kind of street riding. Like, you would want a flat bottom deck, and this thing is rounded on the bottom. So it's like hitting rails and stuff like that, I feel like just doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. So the 81-degree head tube angle, I feel like, is more suited for like park riding as well, because with a lower head tube angle, you can whip it around faster than you can with like a 83 or 83 and a half or 84. So yeah, I don't know what they were even thinking with this deck. I really feel like I'm bashing on TSI. I love TSI. They've been one of my favorite companies for a very long time. I haven't ridden one of their decks since the V1 Sledge. So just you guys got to drop those prices a little bit, man. It's just a little too expensive. But yeah, this thing is definitely a thing of the past. It's gonna go back up on the wall. I'm gonna go home and take this wheel off. Oh yeah, and that's another thing is it doesn't have built-in spacers on the back wheel, and you pretty much have to use like very small washers, and I don't have washers. So what I used was I took the casing off of wheel bearings, you know, like the little rubber casing that you can pop out of the wheel bearing, and I put 2 on one side and 2 on the other, and those are my spacers. So you can hear it rub, and the wheels kind of come loose a little bit, so it wiggles, but beforehand it didn't even really want to roll. So that's all I had. So yeah, this is terrible. This was actually my 3rd scooter deck I ever got. So yeah, anyway, yeah, leave me a comment down in the comment section on a deck that you want, or a scooter part that is a part of scooter history that you would like to see me check out in the near future. But that's it for the video today, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.